I was standing in my quiet kitchen chopping vegetables for dinner when my phone, lying face down on the counter, buzzed softly. At first, I ignored it, but then it buzzed again and again. 3 consecutive vibrations, 3 messages, all from an unknown number. When I finally picked up the phone, my hands trembling for no reason I could explain, I saw the preview. I know what he did. You deserve the truth. Check the video. My heart dropped. My breath stopped. Because below the text was a video thumbnail. And the person in the video was my husband. I had always lived a quiet, simple life. Old wooden cupboards, a small garden, a little kitchen where the clock ticked louder than my own heartbeat. At 62, I believed I had seen every storm life could throw at me. But that night felt different. The air felt heavier, like something was about to tear my world apart. My husband Daniel was late again, something he blamed on office work. My daughter lived in another city, my grandson visited only on weekends. So I spent my evenings alone and safe. Or so I thought. The unknown messages sat on my screen like a threat I wasn't prepared for. I hesitated. Should I open the video? Should I reply? Should I ignore it? But curiosity and fear pushed my thumb forward. I tapped the message, and everything I believed about my life began to unravel. The moment I pressed play, the screen flickered to life. At first, it seemed like a random room. Dim lights, a door slightly ajar, footsteps, and then my husband entered the frame. But something about his body language was off. Stiff, nervous, almost scared. Then a woman stepped into view. A woman I didn't recognize. She placed a folder on the table. Daniel opened it and froze. I leaned closer to the screen. "Why are you doing this?" Daniel whispered in the video. The woman replied, "Because you owe me." My heart thundered. What did he owe her? Who was she? What was in the folder? Before I could watch further, another message arrived. "He lied to you. This is just the beginning." My hands trembled so violently I nearly dropped the phone. Something inside me knew this wasn't a prank. This was a warning. When Daniel came home later that night, he acted normal, too normal. He kissed my forehead, complimented the food, talked about his day. But his eyes avoided mine. I wanted to confront him, ask him who the woman was, ask him what he owed. But I didn't. A lifetime of being gentle, patient, forgiving made me swallow the storm raging inside me. Instead, I just asked, "How was work?" And he smiled, a tight, controlled smile. He replied, "Long day, that's all." But his shoulders were tense, his hands shaky, his smile forced. The man I shared 38 years of marriage with was hiding something. I felt it in my bones. At midnight, when Daniel fell asleep beside me, I grabbed my phone and stepped out quietly. Another message had come while I was pretending to sleep. "Meet me tomorrow, 10 a.m., your old cafe." No name, no explanation, just instructions. My heart pounded. Why me? Why now? Who wanted me to know all this? I typed back, "Who are you?" The reply was instant, cold, direct. "Someone who knows the truth your husband hid from you." I couldn't sleep the entire night. The next morning, I arrived at the old cafe, the same place where Daniel had proposed to me 40 years ago. Memories weighed heavy on me, like stones in my chest. A woman sat alone in a corner, her back turned. Slim, dark hair, nervous hands tapping her cup. When she looked up, I recognized her. She was the woman from the video. My legs almost gave out. "You came," she said quietly. "What do you want from me?" I whispered. "Not money, not trouble." She slid a USB drive across the table. "Just the truth." I stared at it. "Why me?" Her eyes softened. "Because you're the only innocent person in this story." My heart chilled. She leaned closer. "Your husband isn't the man you think he is." Back at home, I plugged the USB into my laptop. Video after video appeared on the screen, each one darker, heavier than the last. My husband wasn't being blackmailed. He was doing the blackmailing. He had been controlling people's secrets, threatening them, and benefiting from their fear. The woman, Leah, had been one of his victims. He had threatened her family, ruined her job, forced her to work for him. And then she found out he was planning something worse. Daniel wasn't just hiding lies, he was orchestrating them. I closed the laptop, hands shaking uncontrollably. I had lived with a stranger for 38 years. I could have collapsed, I could have cried, but something inside me hardened instead. Years of suppressed strength rising to the surface. If Daniel thought I would remain silent, he didn't know me anymore. I called Leah. "What do you need from me?" She said, "Proof. His files, his passwords, his hidden documents. I'll get them." I said it calmly, coldly, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. Ready for the truth, ready for justice, ready for whatever came next. Daniel left for work as usual, but I knew his routine, his hiding places, his weaknesses. In his study, the one he always kept locked, I found a hidden phone, a bank account I never knew existed, signed papers with forged signatures, a list of names of people he had blackmailed. I took photos of everything, every single file. When Daniel returned home early, I almost panicked, but I hid the evidence just in time. He walked into the house silently, too silently, like a predator. His voice was low. "Have you been in my study?" My heartbeat hammered, but I shook my head calmly. "No." His eyes searched mine, suspicious, calculating. But before he could question further, my phone buzzed loudly. He froze. I froze. We both stared at the phone. The name on the screen was Leah. His eyes widened. My fear vanished instantly. A fire lit in me. I stepped back, and for the first time in 38 years, he saw defiance in my eyes. "This ends tonight," I whispered. Daniel lunged to grab my phone, but I stepped away. "Who is she?" he shouted. "Someone you destroyed," I answered. "And someone who finally helped me see who you are." His face twisted, anger and desperation mixing like poison. "You don't understand. I understand perfectly now." He reached for my arm but stopped when he noticed my phone recording. I spoke clearly, coldly. "I have your files, your documents, your secret accounts, your threats, everything." His knees buckled. He knew. It was over. The next morning, Leah met me outside the police station. Her hands were trembling, but her eyes were steady. "Are you sure?" she asked. I nodded. For all the people he hurt, for all the lies, for all the years I lived blind. We submitted the evidence. Every file, every video, every threat. Daniel was arrested that afternoon. He didn't look at me when they handcuffed him. But I looked at him, really looked at him. And I felt nothing. No love, no hate, just closure. For the first time in decades, I felt free.